Uh, with all of, hopefully with your permission, I would like to change the topic of today's discussion. I prepared very well for the topic Rajiv has allotted, but looking at the way the situation in India, the pandemic situation in India is going on, I thought I should express my views to all of you exactly what I presume is going to be the scenario and what needs to be done. First of all, we are born in a very privileged country. We have overcome several unsurmountable problems in a very short period of time. We started COVID, our battle against COVID, with no PPEs and hardly 30,000 ventilators. In just 8 weeks, we were manufacturing surplus PPEs and ventilators, and we were in a position to export them in just 4 weeks. These are unthinkable by any standards. Now, the entire headline discussion on COVID is about oxygen. No one anticipated that it is going to happen in such a remarkably short period of time. It is happening in India mainly because we are a young nation with large number of youngsters interacting, working, and they get infected because, of course, due to the nature of the virus. I'm sure with the industries and the government intervention, in the next few weeks, we will be able to sort out the problem of oxygen, because we have a lot of steel factories which is run by very benevolent people, very industrious, very industrious as well as benevolent people who will do everything possible to ensure that every person in the country who needs oxygen will get the oxygen. I'm concerned, I'm sad, I'm apprehensive, but I'm not worried because I know that the industries of this country will wake up to address this reality. But I'm having sleepless night for the next headline. From PPE and ventilator, we shifted to oxygen. And the next headline in the next few weeks, once the oxygen problem is solved, is going to be patients are dying in ICU because there are no nurses and doctors to take care of the patients. And this is going to happen. I have no doubt about it. Now, I'll explain to you why this is going to happen. We are testing about 3.5 lakh people as positive for COVID. For every patient who's tested positive, there are minimum of 5 to 10 people who are positive, but they are not tested. That means we are talking about at least over 15 to 20 lakh people who are getting infected every day in our large country. Statistically, 5% of the COVID positive patients need ICU bed, irrespective of their age. That means we need to have at least 80,000 ICU beds daily, new ICU beds daily. And many of you may not know, India has only 75,000 to 90,000 ICU beds, and all of them are packed already, and COVID has not reached the peak yet. And When a COVID patient enters the ICU, they spend minimum 10 days. So you can just imagine what the scenario is. Now, what we need to do? We need to create at least 5 lakh additional ICU beds in the next few weeks. Unfortunately, beds do not treat patients. We need nurses, doctors, and paramedics in that order. I must admit, the real workers in managing COVID patients successfully in ICU are not the doctors, they are the nurses. And the outcome of patient in a COVID ICU depends predominantly on the nurses, the way they have managed the patient. You must be, I'm not sure whether you're aware, before the COVID started, government hospitals across the country had a shortage of 78% of medical specialists. That is a shortage, existing shortage. So essentially, COVID patients are not taken care by most government hospitals. There are exceptions, but most government hospitals do not take care of COVID patients simply because they do not have the nurses and the doctors. They have the infrastructure, but they do not have the doctors and nurses to take care. Now, we need to produce at least 2 lakh nurses and at least 1.5 lakh doctors in the next few weeks who are dedicated to manage COVID for the next 1 year, because current pandemic is likely to last for about 4 to 5 months. And then we should be prepared for the third wave. I'm just comparing what happened in England and what happened in US. Based on that, I am just assuming that this is going to be the way virus will behave. So far, virus has not differentiated between Americans and Indians. Irrespective of how much we want to say that we are genetically immune and we have the BCG has given us the immunity, for the virus, it hasn't behaved any greatly different with us. Now, how do we produce 2 lakh nurses and 1.5 lakh doctors to manage COVID ICUs for the next 1 year? If there is one country which can produce that workforce in few weeks, is India. No other country in the world can do this miracle. How it is possible? We have about 220,000 nurses working, who have finished their 3-year GNM or 4-year of BSc in various nursing schools and colleges across the country, who are preparing in the library for their exam, which should happen in the next few weeks. If the Ministry of Health, along with India Nursing Council, take the approach of drafting for the armed forces when there is an impending war with the enemy country, we should approach this with the same idea. This is not a peacetime, it is a wartime. If we decide, then these girls should be told, all right, you have finished your training. You haven't finished the formality of exam. You're all graduates, you'll be given a certificate. But you are given a certificate at the end of 1 year if you work in a COVID ICU for 1 year. And then, apart from that, if there is a government job coming up, all the girls and boys nurses who have worked in this COVID ICU for 1 year should be given a preference over the rest. If that is done, I am convinced most of these girls and boys will join the stream of a fight against COVID. And COVID battle cannot be won by doctors of my age. No war can be fought by people of my age. You need young people. Most of them are vaccinated and they are naturally in a better position to fight the COVID in case they get infected. So we can solve the problem of nursing shortage, which is a major problem. Now, what about the doctors? There are 130,000 young doctors today working not in the COVID ICU. They're sitting in the library, mugging the multiple choice questions to crack the NEET exam to get one of those elusive PG seats. The National Medical Commission should, along with the National Board of Examination, should conduct online test for NEET right away without any delay and declare the results in few days. And there are only about 35,000 PG seats available. And allot the seats. After the allotment, there will be still 1 lakh doctors, young doctors, who are left out, who didn't get the PG seat. They should be offered a huge grace mark during the next year of PG selection if they work in the COVID ICU for 1 year. And government should have a separate department of controlling this huge workforce and allot them based on the requirement. If you go to, we are only looking at Delhi and Bangalore and Pune. What about the tier 2, tier 3 cities? If you believe me, the number of COVID right now, it is very less in those places. They are going to be in the same fate as us. It's a matter of time. COVID doesn't spare anybody. So if the only hope for a tier 2, in tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities, there are no big private hospitals to manage COVID. Only big hospitals are the government hospitals. And they don't have enough nurses, don't have doctors. These doctors and nurses can really make the tier 2 government hospital very vibrant for managing COVID patients. Apart from this, we have about 25,000 doctors who are finished their postgraduate training and they haven't yet appeared for the exam, and they are not working in the COVID ICU because they may have to appear for the exam anytime. This batch of medical specialists should be told that they can skip the exam and get the degree provided they work in the COVID ICU for 1 year. And apart from them, there are over 90,000, 1 lakh doctors who graduated from overseas universities and they haven't been able to pass the national entrance exam. Identify 20,000 of the brightest of the kids and ask them to work in COVID ICU for 1 year for permanent registration. And if we are able to do this successfully in the next few weeks, believe me, we would have conquered the COVID battle. Otherwise, the consequences can be very, very, very serious. Mainly because just admitting a patient in a COVID ICU and giving him some oxygen is not going to save their life. When the oxygen drops, they need proning. And somebody has to monitor their blood gases. All these are done by nurses and junior doctors. This is May. We are entering May. You know how hot it is. Wearing the PPE, working in the COVID ICU. Even the fittest people cannot work there for more than 4 to 5 hours. And we need to look after those patients for 24 hours. You look at the number of people who we need. The current doctors and nurses who are taking care of COVID across the country have done a fantastic job during the first wave. They are tired, they are fed up, they are burnt out. and good number of them are getting infected. Unless we create a parallel workforce of COVID, believe me, there can be a problem. Knowing the amazing power our government has, especially under the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, I have no doubt that they will do something dramatic. And we need to do something dramatic. In the end, all my speculation about the number of COVID patients and how many ICU beds we need may be wrong. But what if I'm right? It is too late. That's all I have to say. And I thought it is a fantastic forum for me to view my, express my views with the idea that some of you may agree, some of you may not, but at least some thought. We cannot just watch the drama going on. We have to do something active. That's all I have to say. And I'm extremely grateful to all of you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.